Okay, so sorry about that abrupt ending there. I'm gonna be splicing the videos together, apparently. I had keyboard shortcuts set for end stream. I never set shortcuts for end stream. So I hit Control N to go move the thing down to the bottom layer, and it just immediately just denies and ends the video. So I'm going to have to splice together ZK5 part 1 with ZK5 part 2. Oops. So I removed the hotkeys while I was off. So with Arena done, off to level 2, which is bounce. So I think I already optimized bounce a bit. I'm going to open up the editor and pull bounce over from here. This, yeah. This is really hard to juggle the windows, by the way. So we're going to look at bounce. And this is the kind of level that I think is best to just play around with in the game itself. So how am I going to do this? So when we look at the level, we see this red key to get this yellow key. And it looks like we just bounce it off the ball. So that's going to be a 3-move wait to go do that. And I think that's a no-move wait. No, it's going to be 2. So half waiting is not beneficial here. That gives us access to the yellow key. Wait, what? What? Okay, so in doing that, I realized the fundamental flaw of this level. It's a very simple flaw. I can just escape, slide through here, get the green key, open the green key, and wait 1 before doing that. Yeah, so this level is meant to make you do 3 bounces, but you don't actually have to do 3 bounces. And I'm pretty sure this is better, even. But I'll try both approaches. So there's 2 big approaches I'm going to do here. The first is opening the green lock early, like I'm doing now, because that has a 1-move wait. So I can walk to the exit and get a 91. And then there's the other approach where we'll leave the green lock, and I'm pretty sure this is going to require a 3-move wait. Yep, now I can intercept and go back. And that's going to be a little bit slower. I'm pretty sure that's going to be optimal, but I'm not 100% sure given the level. So let's go back to the editor here and try to think about if there's any potential ways to break it farther. So what we just did is this path. The intended path involves going in here. So we get to skip a large amount of the level. Yellow key is totally unnecessary, and there's no way getting it would be faster. By that logic, the only other potential approach would be going up through this block, but then this blocks off this path. If the block doesn't bounce off the ball, then we're screwed. So what that means is going up here for the green key has to be the first step. Okay, that's going to be optimal. Nice. So bounce is done with a score of 91. We can move on to probably the last level for this particular video, because it's guard. Now, as you can see, this is a bit more complex by a lot. There's 8 blocks to extract, and all pull down here. There's going to be a lot of potential equalizers and cycles. And I'm not 100% sure what the best approach for this is going to be, but I get the feeling it's going to be just playing the level. So here's the thing. I know there's 8 blocks to bring down, and these are all starting on a set cycle. So I'm thinking what I want to do is something like that. That gets me killed. So that sets up the balls on the first cycle, which I lose a lot of time to that. This is not the kind of level I usually put a lot of effort into.
Bummer.
It's just not my kind of level. Yeah, it's like, look at all this chaos going on. This is just... I'll get a decent score and then just move on. Just because this is just absurd.
Bummer.
Yeah, no, I'm just not even going to bother with this. This is not the kind of level that is good for this process. This is the kind of level that, honestly, I would wait for a JB report and just try and come up with a decent route for then. And after that, I would just try to find incremental improvements and be happy with getting close. So instead, I'm going to move on to one that I will be able to easily get bold on, tile. So import that over to the editor. Where's OBS? And this is the kind of level where I want to do normal zoom. So this is just a blue wall maze with some boosting. So for parsing this, if I was using CC design, I'd be able to do this automatically with a find and replace. So this is how I usually set this kind of thing up. Replace the fake blue wall with something that is functionally identical to it. In this case, dirt. As the first step of the process. And this shows a lot of the paths. Then I can replace the blue walls with regular walls. Again, this is just to remove any obfuscation the level has. And at this point, I can analyze the starting paths. So this one, so these two lead nowhere. So I can put walls there because they just aren't necessary, and this simplifies the representation. So after looking at more of the level, I can further reduce it to this shape right here. And that's interesting, because now we can see that the actual path for this level is going to be very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you probably can't see this, but I have a print screen program up. So I go copy, I paste it into my paint, I'm going to hit expand canvas size, and I'm going to zoom back out. And open up paint. So now I'm going to take my preferred color for routing, which is blue. And we're going to see this is going to be part of the path. This has to be part of the path. Now this is going to be part of the path for sure. There's no reason not to cut through here. There's also going to be no reason not to cut through here. And now this is where things get interesting. Because we have to step here. This is going to be part of a path. Likewise, we have to end here, so this is part of it. And we're going to end up going in both directions. So because of that, this is part of it. This link isn't objectively worth doing. And we're just going to try a nice big loop approach. This chip is identical timing from both sides. So the only question at that point would be, is this chip in the center worth passing through? So is it worth passing through, or is it better to backtrack out? And that's something I'm pretty sure it's better to backtrack out on. So I'm going to do it from this side, because this side looks a little easier to execute. And we have a route. And tile world isn't going to be visible. Alright, so I've still got my map on the side. I'm going to try and play this out without pausing. Oops. Well, I got a 36, so that's not very good. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my editor window, which, because this is unimportant at the moment. And no. As you can see, I've now substituted it for my copy. So you can see it's exactly the same level, just easier to read. This way I can find out what the decimal is. Okay, so I've lost 4 moves so far. I think that's 5, but it might be 6. So 37 is definitely possible, 38 probably isn't. You know what would have been nice to set up? No board. Yeah, 38 is not possible, 37 is. So now that I've done it, I have some muscle memory for it too. So now that means what I should do is actually go play it out in the actual level. And see what I can get. And 37. Perfect 37 at that. So now that I have the base route for this executed out, now for the interesting part. Now I'm going to go back over to the other tile world and explore alternate routes. So we're going to go into the center here, because that shows us basically the entire level. It's not all of it, but it's close. So the big question that I had, and this isn't actually a big question, but it's the biggest one, is what if I pass through the center? Well, let's try it and see what we get. This is the easiest way rather than trying to count moves, if you can execute it, which I can. And that was objectively just a lot slower, because I played that pretty well, but it was still only a 36. So what does that mean route-wise? Well, that means to me that I'm pretty sure that cutting through the middle is just objectively a bad decision. After a quick look over everything else, I'm pretty sure that tile hits bold at, well, 37. Moving on, we have Psycho, which I'm not going to work on, and Storage. Now, Storage is one that might be doable, but there's a lot of monster chaos going on that I just don't want to work around. This is a kind of level that is just not a good optimization experience. Maybe someday I'll go back and revisit this one, but I will not be revisiting Psycho due to combination randomness, monster chaos, and step parity. I just don't want to do any of that. Just like I'm not doing Guard because of the really high block complexity on collisions. So Shrine, I'll just play back what I did during the initial non-optimized solves. Quote, non-optimized. Because I did do some looking back over things before I started this recording. And I saw this one had the right idea. Because I didn't want to trap all the teeth. So the whole point of this is just deflecting the fireball off of a moving teeth. Which is, teeth deflections are always a fun time. So off to code, which I think is worth looking at right now. I want to try and get the ZK5 optimizing done within 5 episodes, I think. So back over to my standard editor window. Now it's worth noting that for code, there's one extra chip. And this is a level where the connections are pretty self-explanatory. They are as expected. Now what does that mean? That means that if I alt print screen this, go over to Paint, expand canvas, scroll over, I only need to concern myself with this part right here, because I can do a bit of a zoom and doodle. So obviously this is part of the route. So the whole idea is we can step on this button down here at the bottom, let's go back to the editor and just let me explain what I notice here. So this button at the bottom will clone more here. So I can only hit this bottom button once because any subsequent presses will send a glider onto this force floor. However, this button I can press twice if I don't press this bottom button. So if I press this 7th button, first one blows up this bomb, and the next one blows up this bomb. So this doesn't actually cook the level to push a button more than once, like the hint originally suggests. Let me just get the level. Each button needs to be and must only be pressed once isn't actually true. So what that means for the level is there's some serious routing potential here. So let's go back over to Paint and try and figure something out. So with one extra chip, I cannot definitively say any path will be included. However, I do want to say that the best chip to skip is probably going to be one of these corners. Just because they take up more time than any other chip in the level to pick up. So starting from that, I can definitively get a few links down. And that's an interesting segment right there. Okay. So this is a sort of central point. So what that means is I'm suspecting, because we need 2 paths into here, that this will be used in the final route, and then probably looping around like so. And that puts me back through there. See, that's not good. That gets all the chips. So what does that really mean? Okay, new plan. We're going to start by doing this loop here. Then we're going to take this path, loop around like so, loop around like so, and see what that does. So I don't actually think this is going to work, because if I go back to the editor window, the first button absolutely must be pressed. I'm going to go into Tile World though, and see what this does.
Bummer.
And there's a glider bouncing back. So that just objectively fails. So because we need this one pressed, like the gist is this looks good. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I've got a path. So this is one of those things where I can't really explain what my insight is. But I like the look of this path, because if we look at the button presses, then we have this one once, which blows up bomb 1. Then we have this one over here, which is button 5, which will blow up bomb 5. Then we go down here and hit button 7, so bomb 7's blown up. Then we hit this button again, which effectively hits this button. Go up here, that's 2. Go over here, 4. Hit 7 again, that is 8. Then we hit 3. So that not only works, but that blows up every bomb. And it's worth noting, actually, that if we took this path around here, then instead of double crossing this button and this button, we hit this one and this one. So that's probably the solution Zane originally wanted, just done a little faster. So let's execute that and see how it goes. So we're going to go through the inside here. No, I said we're going to go through the inside here. Nope, nope, nope. Oh wait, no, yeah, we do go through the inside for a lot of it. Oh wait, no, we go up. Wait, what's going on over there? Are we getting a collision or something? Like, what goes on over there?
Bummer.
Like, why doesn't that work? I have no idea why that doesn't work. So I'm gonna go back to the editor and see if there's anything I'm missing. Um, is it just how long I'm on a button? Ah, it is just how long I'm on a button. I tested and heard more explosions. Yes, I can't mis-execute this. Yeah, see, the fact that I mis-executed there would actually cook the level. I might have lost a move somewhere, so I'm going to replay that. Nope, 138 is optimal. As far as I can tell, there could be a better route, but I think that 138 is as good as it's going to get. So let's see what the next level is. Do I have time for channel? Let me look at it in the ZK5 editor. I think I actually do have time for this, because this is a very basic kind of level. So I can close paint. Yeah, so this is the entire level. And as you can probably tell, the gist of it is just get to that exit. So if we do a zoom in, this is the relevant portion. We've got one block, pretty much, to get access to the 3 chips, and eventually the exit. So there's a couple big decisions to make for this one. Most notably, in my mind, is which of these blocks do we push at the start, and then which order do we go for the chips. So we can't run straight through there, so we have to drop 2 moves, which makes... let's go for the cloning one first. Because the cloning one's free. Wait, no, because I can't cut through. That makes this equivalent-ish. This means I should go for the tank first, because the tank doesn't matter. Then I can go for the clone, which, as you can see, gets me here 1 move faster. Then I can go for the toggle, which gets me here at the right cycle. If the toggle gets hit the wrong number of times, then oops. So with all the chips in tow, I need to not have that button held down. Which means in this setup, I need to walk around, and that is not going to be optimal. However, that is faster than I'd done it before. So with that realization in mind, I think the correct option is to start with the toggle button. And that's bad to do. That way, anyway. So the reason I want to start with the toggle button is because then I can just end it. I can end by just pushing a block up, right? Right? Wait, no, 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 no. Here's the realization, right? So if this is the block I push down, then at the end I can push it straight onto
Bummer.
the tank button. Which means I need to do that and start at the toggle button, like so. There's absolutely no way any other path is going to... No, I need to start at the tank button. I'm stupid. I need to start at the tank button.
Bummer.
Because if I don't start with the tank button, then I can't end by pushing onto the tank button. So checking the glider cycle. That's actually pretty bad. But I'm pretty sure nothing's going to be faster than this. Just... Is this the right toggle state? No, it is not. However, I do have two moves at the start where I can either walk around or walk through. That's the other really important thing to notice for this level. That I have some degree of control over what button state things are in. Because I can step on the buttons myself. And as you can see, with basically the same thing, I can now actually go up here. And that's a 113.0. Not bad, not bad. So Underwater is a level that will take a while and probably honestly take up a video of its own. So until next time, that was some ZK5 optimizing. Like I said, I'm probably not going to do every level, but this one feels reasonable enough to go for. Alright, later. Oh my gosh, no, no, how long was I not showing the game? Okay, fine. So, here's what I did. I'll play back channel. So the big thing to note, as I mentioned, was that I could control the button to state by stepping on the toggle button myself. An interesting realization is that the tank button state didn't actually matter at that point, because no matter what I did with the tank button, I was going to have to wait the full time. This walks up. So yeah, sorry about the mistake. This is not an easy setup to try and do. I don't know how long I wasn't showing channel. Hopefully my words were enough to explain what I was trying to do. But the block on the right was definitely the right one to push down, just due to the ending. So yeah, Underwater in the next video, sorry.